Hey metalheads, you like tattoos? Of course you do. If you're in the Louisville, Kentucky area, come on over the bridge to Clarksville, Indiana, and get you some ink done at Ageless Art. If ink isn't your thing, they have a piercing studio as well. Visit agelessartclarksville.com to see some frequently asked questions, meet the staff. The shop is open Monday through Thursday, 12 to 8 p.m., Saturdays, 12 to 10 p.m., and Sundays, 12 to 6 p.m., all appointment-only spots. You can set up your appointments by phone at 812-283-1793 or email agelessarttattooandpiercing@gmail.com and someone will get you set up for your first or your next tattoo or piercing.
Hey, it's Jeff McNichol down here at Mom's Music, 1900 Melwood Avenue. I was just thinking, when I was a kid, the magic was at Frankfort Avenue, the Mom's Music at Frankfort Avenue, and I used to beg people to get a ride down there just to hang out with the guys and see all the cool gear. Now that I'm the owner of this store, it's like a dream come true. We're recreating the magic with the vibe that we used to have at the old store. We're carrying all the gear that you're going to possibly want. We're giving you the outstanding service and personal attention that you deserve. Yeah, so we've got the great guitar shop here. We're carrying USA Fender, USA Gibson, Paul Reed Smith, Gretsch, Jackson, Charvel, anything you could possibly want, we're going to have it for you. Mom's is and always will be Louisville's music store.
Thank you for tuning into the Metal Forge. I am Mark Jackson and I am your host. The premise of the show is pretty simple. Awesome interviews and awesome music. If you want to contact me, hit me up at metalforgeradio@gmail.com or visit the website metalforgeradio.com. And now let's get this show on the road. Thank you all for tuning in to this week's episode of the Metal Forge. My name is Mark Jackson and I am your host. Wow, I hope everybody is doing awesome here in November. Wow, I cannot believe we're already halfway through November. Jesus. It's like, where does the time go? I really don't know anymore. It's just so fast, you know. I got my paycheck today from my day job, and immediately it was gone. That's the beauty part about being a homeowner. Paying the bills, doing the thing, it's gone. But anyways, dudes, how are you all? I have Traveler from Calgary, Alberta, Canada in the Metal Forge today. We're going to be speaking with Matt and JP. Super rad dudes. It's awesome. I'm digging it. You know, I like these guys. I like Traveler. This whole new wave of traditional heavy metal stuff that's been out there, super rad times. But we've got an awesome month. You already heard who's going to be in here this month. Fallen Void next week. Black Tusk the week after that. Oh, wow, yeah. And tonight, if you're in the Louisville, Kentucky area, go to see Municipal Waste and Crowbar at Diamonds on Barrett Avenue. I will be there. Come say hey. I can't promise you a sticker or anything because I'm out of them right now. But hey, seriously, come say, dude, I listened to the Metal Forge. You rock, or what the fuck ever. So I do want to give a big shout out to Brandon from Vomit 666. Dude, thank you so much. I finally made it up to my other place to get the mail that you sent me. I love the beanie, dude. The Vomit Fuck Off patch with the scorpion on there. It's like, it reminds me of like Sting when he was actually kind of good. And the other cool stuff like the stickers and the other awesome Vomit patches. Hell yes, dude. Thank you so much. You've got something headed your way soon as well. I appreciate that. Also here, this is an awesome mail day, you know. I also got my copy of Entrails and Thrills cassette from Vanek, and I am so excited to listen to this on cassette. It's like bated breath, you know. I just have to do it. I'm like, ooh, new music. And yeah, I've heard it digitally, but I want to hear it in the way Vanek talked about, in the way he envisioned that to be done. Where you listen to the first side in its entirety. That's awesome stuff. I really like that concept, and I think, Overload's going to do that with their next as well. It's the artist vision of it, which is cool to me. Speaking of artist vision of things, yesterday, Metallica dropped a little hint thing, and it's the Metallica black box. They didn't say what it was, but the artwork was a shipping container, and they had a video that went with it that was, crazily enough, they were all videos from the Black Album tour, the Anywhere I May Roam tour is what it was called. So I've got this sneaking suspicion, because they just released the audio box set, that they're going to release a DVD or Blu-ray live video set of like the entire video shows at the tour. I think that's what it's going to be. Other than that, the only thing that I don't understand why they would hype it with live video from that era if it were like a complete album box or anything like that. What are your thoughts on that? Shoot me a message, metalforgeradio@gmail.com. I'll read you on the air and see what you think. And obviously, if you see see me post that on Facebook and Instagram, I do want your opinions, because, I want to see what it is too. We might break in with a special show or something, special snippet episode or something. I don't know. We might do something like that. It's crazy stuff. But seriously, thank you all for tuning in each and every week. I appreciate you all more than you do know. It gives me something to do to just get on here and do this and just look and see the feedback that I'm getting on, from just the guests that come on. It's like, dude, I really liked that episode that you had with Vanek at Halloween. That was really cool. Down below, there are links to the sponsors, and without you guys supporting them, they can't support the Metal Forge either. And I am so grateful that you all do help these businesses. Whether you're listening to their podcast, you're buying instruments from them, you're going and getting tattoos, you're going to the Discogs page. Thank you all so much, and continue to please support all of these guys. Ageless Art, Tattoo and Piercing, Mom's Music, Maxwell's House of Music, Better Days Records, Unchained Tapes, Mercenary Press, The Wrestling Steve Show, The Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast, the It's Gonna Get Weird Podcast. Keep supporting those guys, because every bit helps us at the Metal Forge, and it helps them too. Also, making sure you all click on the Spotify playlists as well. You get to hear all of the previous bands that have been on the show, and you'll be supporting those people as well too. Thank you all. So we're going to go ahead and get into some Traveler here. This is off of Termination Shock. This is Forever Man.
Think
All right, metalheads, I am being joined up north this week from the band Traveler. I have Matt and JP here. Dudes, what is going on?
Hello. Well, JP's actually where you are, kind of. Where are you?
I'm
in Michigan.
Oh shit! You're not that far away from me. You're about you're about 300 or so miles to the north.
Okay, you're in Ohio?
I'm in Indiana, actually. I'm just
Indiana.
I'm just about a mile above Louisville, Kentucky.
Oh, nice.
Sweet.
So close to Indianapolis, right?
2 hours away.
2 hours away. Okay, yeah. I forget how the depth of Indiana.
Yeah, it's a lot longer of a state than it is wider of a state.
Oh yeah.
So if you're coming from Michigan, coming south, you're going to be in Indiana for, it feels like, about a month, and yeah. Just as the cornfields when you get down south, that's when you realize how long the state really is.
Yeah,
it's a long place.
Definitely.
I'm no stranger to long drives, man. Alberta's pretty fucking brutal for that.
Right. I'm sure anything much north of you is probably, even across the country, is going to be that way.
Yep. Everything's like, the closest city is Edmonton, and that's 3 hours, but any other city that's worth going to is like 8 to 10 hours away.
That's insane. I could not imagine being in a place like that.
Well, I mean, it's kind of sick, man, because we're so close to the mountains, and I fucking love the mountains, and I don't know, it's great.
Definitely.
I actually like it.
I'm sure, other than, I mean, of course you're used to the winter and stuff there because you've been around it. But other than that, I'm sure it's got its pros and cons, just like anywhere you go.
Well, I've lived here my entire life, and I'm not used to it.
Oh,
I fucking hate, I hate the winter, man. I hate being cold. It sucks. And it's about to start getting icy out. And I'm just dreading every morning I got to get up and drive to work on those roads.
Right.
At least feel better that your place is drier, because in Michigan, everything gets wet and slushy constantly because it's a more humid place,
Yeah.
That is very true.
Gross. It gets gross. Yeah.
Because I get that same kind of weather here, JP, as well. It's that wet, slushy, maybe in February. It gets so cold, and I mean like in the teens, like 13, 14 degrees maybe, and then it starts to like harden up. But other than that, yeah, it's just that slushy, nasty, dirty snow.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I mean,
Midwest style.
Yeah, you just put up with it for the pros, man. Like, I like the mountains, and the summers are beautiful here, and I don't know, whatever.
Definitely.
Yeah, you got... Buddy, it looks like Lord of the Rings out there. It's so sick. Yeah, it's like the coolest. It's an awesome place. Like,
sure.
The winter is brutal, though. Like, you will, like, freeze to your bones. It gets, like, literally deathly cold. Like, stay inside is the order kind of cold, So, yeah.
So, tell everyone out in Metal Forge Land about Traveler.
Well, Matt called me in 2017 and said, he had 3 songs. And I was rehearsing with a band at the time in Detroit, and I was like, these 3 songs kick ass. This is good. So then we got together and recorded it. And just since then, it's just like steadily grown in a very, just like real way, That's how I feel about it. I don't know how Matt feels about it. I think the same way, sort of.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised at the reaction when we released the demo, for sure. It was kind of just, I was getting restless with music at the time with my current bands. Gatecrasher, which doesn't exist anymore, in Chrome. Things were moving pretty slow. So I was getting antsy. So I was writing a bunch of stuff on my own. And I was like, I'm just going to see what happens when I release the demo. And I got my buddy Jan, who sings in Chrome. He just did session drums for it. I wrote the lyrics and the guitar and recorded the bass and all that. But I needed a voice. So I called up JP because we've crossed paths in the past with like Borrowed Time and shit. Yeah, and I was like, I like his voice. I want to hear what he sounds like on this. Let's do it up. So
yeah, we first met at that fest in 2013 in Chicago. That was it.
Yeah, that's right. So I bought him a bus ticket, and then then it snowballed, man, and I'm pretty grateful.
Definitely. It looks like you recently, I say recent because the pandemic era for any kind of band has been kind of almost in this somewhat stasis. Everybody's kind of done something in the last year, and you guys had Termination Shock come out in April of 2020. So just as the pandemic was really starting to shut everybody down.
Yeah, we released it right before our tour, and then we were going to, or was it right before or right after?
It was right after. Yeah, it came out right after, but like we finished it like a couple of months before we went out.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. So we never really got a chance to tour at all. And obviously JP's in the States there, so borders were locked down, everyone was fucked, and we just weren't able to see each other. So
SNK and then Termination Shock on the 2020 tour, and we plan to play a lot more songs from it on this next one.
Yeah.
Definitely. Do you currently have something new that you're working on?
Right at the beginning of the lockdown, I got a huge wave of inspiration and productivity. And I was staying really productive, and I ended up writing most of an album within that time. Man, it got to me after a little while. And eventually I had no motivation for anything. I wasn't getting any inspirational riffs, or I'd try to pick up my guitar and figure something out. Just nothing was coming to me. But then I was going back to all the old shit that I wrote at the beginning. And we pretty much have an album. So we're going to write a couple more. And actually, JP was just in town a month or two ago. And we demoed out vocals for all the songs that we have.
We refined all the lockdown material because we all developed our parts separately over the while, because Matt had the riff sets of the songs. And then we kind of got together to do more definitive versions, and they all came pretty quick just because we had a year extra to warm over the material. But then we didn't want it to be just warmed over. We wanted it to be attack it as hard as we can. So it's we got these really ripping versions of these songs. We had demos of earlier in the pandemic, and Matt was talking about how we are looking for now to just write as many songs as possible. And we're getting some riff sets together from the other band members as well, Dave Arnold and Torian.
Yeah, so I think right now the plan is just to, write a few more, piece together everything we have, and then just kind of pick and choose the best for the album. And but I gotta say, man, right now I'm pretty fucking stoked on the ones we have. They came together really well. So
yeah, I was just listening to them earlier, and we're gonna kind of go through the same recording process we did before, but just with what we've learned before, so we're able to do it kind of separately and communicate. You know what I mean? So it's that way the material will be still go through what it needs to go through in its own development before we put the songs out. And that way, and we want to do that with some new stuff too, because
and you still want to keep the continuity.
It's just been a long ass time, it's been a long ass time.
Definitely. It's super heartbreaking to see bands have an album that came out during 2020 and not be able to tour on it. I know there's always going to be some studio project bands out there that are not going to play it live anyways, but when you make your bread on the road, it's really hard to see bands that, put in so much effort in everything they do and not get to play it live.
Yeah, it's a bummer, but we're going to make up for that next year, hopefully. So
yeah, hopefully everything goes back to somewhat kind of normal. I know a lot of bands are already out touring and everything, so that's always a plus.
Yeah, I'm feeling better about it now than I ever have, so I'm pretty positive we're going to be able to actually do these tours. Even if there is the risk we might get stuck somewhere, I think we're all willing to take that risk because, we got to get out there, man. And we're getting sick of not doing shit.
Definitely. That's always been my irrational fear of touring is getting somewhere and getting stuck, not having to sell my gear to get home kind of shit. You know what I mean? That's
could very well happen. But when we were on that tour, we were on our way to Poland when everything was crashing down, basically. And we basically got the call. They were everyone we were talking to was saying, "Get home now." as soon as you can. We took an emergency flight to Paris. We left JP in Berlin because he wasn't feeling too well. Thankfully, everything was fine. But we had to take an emergency flight to Paris and basically camp out at the airport for 3 days. And they closed the border to France 1 hour after a flight took off.
Holy shit. That's insane. Yeah, I had so many friends who had that same experience happen. Like, that is like such a, I don't know if I want to say frightening, but it's definitely, it ranks super high on the list for anxiety.
It was pretty nerve-wracking, man, but at the same time, I don't know, like, I can't speak for everyone else, but at least for me, I had a hard time accepting the reality of the situation, even though I knew. But
no, Matt, it was absolute chaos. Remember, it was just it felt like absolute chaos when it was happening.
Well, it was weird, man. Like, it was obviously just brand new situation. No one could believe what was happening.
Yeah.
It was scary, obviously. But when you're in the situation, I mean, like, there's literally nothing you can do. All you can do is try to get home. And then, just go to where you're supposed to be, hope the flight takes off and whatever, right? Like, all of that was completely out of our control. So, I mean, we just had to just try our best, get on the plane, and it worked.
And it's great that you all did get the chance to make it home. I do know a couple of people, too, that, they were locked down where they were. That, to me, is just like, holy shit. Okay, well, this is real now, so how do you go about, okay, so I'm in such and such country that this is the only time I've really ever been here. Now, how do I function in society again? In a country I've really never been to that I'm being forced to live in until borders reopen.
Yeah, I don't know what it would be like to get stuck somewhere that isn't your home. That would be scary, for sure.
Definitely. Since 2013, there has been a calling from the underground, from the graves of all those unholy, and they decided to make a zine to talk about all of this. Soulgrinder Zine, an independent metal zine to keep you informed on all things metal and horror from the underground. Available in both print and digital formats, they're bringing you the best interviews and reviews out there today. Not only do they do the zine, but they also do compilation CDs. Check them out at facebook.com/soulgrinder.zine and start your subscription now.
Welcome to the night. You think you know Night Demon? Then the Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast is for you. Step into the darkness as we peel back the curtain to give you an unprecedented, all-access look into the mind and the heart of the demon. We're talking band history, song analysis, studio anecdotes, stories from the road. It's everything a diehard Night Demon fan could want and more. This is the only place to learn the inside scoop, the deep dive trivia, the untold tales from the band members themselves and those closest to the Night Demon story. Need more? The sacred Night Demon Crypt will be pried open to reveal demo recordings that have never before seen the light of day, all with in-depth commentary by the band and the people who were there for the writing and recording process. This is a gold mine, a treasure trove of all things Night Demon. Head over to nightdemon.net or wherever you listen to podcasts.
So you guys have some awesome artwork. I'm really digging the logo because it's like this whole speed of light thing.
Yeah, that was made. Well, I do. So how I come up with my crackpot ideas is I just do a really shitty children's drawing of like what I want something to look like, and then I get someone with talent to make to make it look sick. So yeah, with the Traveler one, I was actually talking to Jan from Home, his ex-girlfriend. She did, some small graphic design type stuff, and I drew her a really crappy picture of the Traveler logo. And then she refined it, made it cool. And then that got brought over to Dylan, who incorporated into the art that you see now, man. So, and his art, I mean, Dylan Barstead, he's been like a Calgary staple, even though he lives just outside of Calgary. I've always been a big fan of his art. He's in another band called Cadaver Dog. If they got out there, man, they would do just as well as Whiplash or Bewitcher or any of those guys. But yeah, and I've always loved his art. It's very, he has more of a punk skater style to it, but he can also refine it. Like he can fine tune it to where it's not so punk either. I don't know how to explain it, but he's just really he's really
what I like
good.
with the I like Allison's original logo a lot, and then his logo, like. And they both sort of like fed off each other's perspective on it, I felt like, because what I love the most about it is that it like eschews, to use a stupid $3 word, like generic, like chromed out looking stuff. It looks more like a broken television that's like giving you weird static from like, weird chatter. And you're like, what are they? What is this? Am I hearing things? And I like that a lot. And it seems like Dylan really fed right off of Allison's, take with that. And it's, for me, that's very strong. Like, I loved it right away.
Yeah, it definitely has that CRT monitor through the screen thing where it's got like the phase lines in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. And on the actual album artwork, from the demo / split to the album Termination Shock, it seems like there is an evolution of the weird squid monster on the cover.
Marvin.
Yeah, Marvin. Marvin.
Nice. Yeah. I'm really digging I don't know if I want to, it's like somewhere in time Eddie meets Mother Brain.
It's etymology. Yeah, right. No, but like, Mother Brain from Metroid. Yeah. I remember being like 3 and like, I was afraid of Mother Brain on like the Nintendo Power cartoon. It was like, ooh, Mother Brain.
Definitely.
Yeah. Like, oh, dude. Yeah. That's a cool take on it for sure. I don't know. Matt's written a lot of lore about him that he's expanded into lyrics. Like he did Starbreaker, right? And then like, I wrote a bit about him for Termination Shock. We're just like, kind of building a little story and a little world for him to play around in. Cause it's, I mean, it's, with Matt's original Starbreaker lyrics, it's like something that like feels so prophetic that like you can turn into this sci-fi story and expand upon it.
And why not? Because, Maiden does it with Eddie. And even though there might not be a song directly saying that Eddie does something, he's definitely portrayed as doing things, especially in the live show and in the videos.
I mean, Iron Maiden's gonna get you. I mean, they're not talking about like an inanimate object coming after you. Yeah, exactly.
Right. Because what inanimate object, exactly. It's like, that ain't gonna happen.
Yeah. I mean, they'll put you in it, but it's like the thing isn't gonna come after.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the inspiration behind having a storyline based around the mascot was basically because of Chrome, because we've been doing that with Powerheart for, the last 10 years. And, there's a chance we're going to be melding the universes, the Traveler and Chrome universe storyline together.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's like, why not, man? Like, you only live once, so like, get creative, get together, do some like fun, stuff that stirs the mind, right? Like, what I like about Marvin is like, there's this opportunity to just do multiple narratives, because like Starbreaker is just the story of him destroying the world. And then you have like in Termination Shock, the perspective of somebody who's out there in space while it's happening. And then there's a song we're working on for the new one where it's some guy sees it in the future. And it's a little like Philip K. Dickish, a little bit of Asimov in there. So it'll be a fun one.
Nice.
Yeah.
Off topic here, and I'm going to ask this question before the general profile stuff comes up. Speaking of Philip K. Dick, do you have any particular story that you like of his?
I really like Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, because it's just it's a favorite from when I was younger. I was always an Asimov guy. The Foundation series has been like a huge one for me, and I'm really afraid to see the show. I'm really I'm deeply, deeply afraid.
Well, I feel that, and I'm the exact same way. I'm the exact same way with Philip K. Dick, because obviously Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep is Blade Runner. And granted, Blade Runner is an amazing film. I still haven't seen 2049 yet, but A Scanner Darkly, which is a great novel, I refuse to watch the film.
That's the one I was trying to remember when I switched to Asimov. I'm like, I'm too dumb. I have to change the author.
Oh, come on now. I refuse to watch the film, even though the cast of the film is great. The way the film is shot, I've seen like 15 minutes of it, and I just can't do it.
The jet grind radio style?
Yeah, it looks like
visuals.
Yeah, it looks like PS2 graphics almost to me.
Yeah, it does. Man. And it's funny looking shit.
And then obviously Total Recall, which is the short story We Can Remember It For You Wholesale.
2 weeks. Oh yeah.
Yes, exactly. The story is so good, but like
it's sick. And the movie version, even though it dumbs it down, is just so rad. It's the raddest movie, dude. Like Michael Ironside, I could watch Michael Ironside chase Arnold Schwarzenegger for 10 fucking years. I could watch that.
And like Kuato Lives and all that shit, and
start the reactor.
Spoiler alert: the tracking device where he pulls it out of his nose, which doesn't happen in the novel. It's just like, what?
No, dude, but you have to have Arnold taking himself apart in some cool way. You got to have the callback. You know, he says, "I'll be back, Bennett," in Commando. You got to have him doing something where he's like, okay, let's have him do a Terminator thing where he takes apart. It's like a stop motion face and then an animatronic, and he just, perfect.
And you say him taking apart himself in a cool way. And I will always remember the scene from T2 where he like pulls the skin off of his arm and he shows the guy at Cyberdyne the endoskeleton, and the guy's
Miles
just like Dyson, yes. Yeah. And he's like, oh, you could see it on his face. He's like, what the fuck is this?
I say Miles Dyson like it's like some important name from real life. I'm like, oh yes, Miles Dyson. This is knowledge that I have.
Definitely.
Hey, okay, hold on. Speaking of T2, what do you think about the director's cut versus the
director's cut all the way?
Really?
Yes.
Oh, no, man.
Yep.
No.
Director's cut all the way. And the reason why I say that is because the smile scene can go fuck itself. Okay. That one scene can go fuck itself. But the end of the film when Sarah Connor,
she's old?
when Sarah,
Okay, go on.
The end of the film when John is there with the two Sarah Connors, and then he sees where the molten metal is making the T-1000 not be able to function properly, and it's like legs are molding to the grated floor. Shit like that to me is super cool. Because it's
you're gonna love a song that we're working on. I'm just gonna let the cat. Can I let the cat out of the bag? This is ridiculous. This is so coincidental. Like we are working on a song. Like
no, go for it.
We get spoilers.
Yeah, this is a moment. No, that's a genuine moment. We didn't pantomime this, fucking rehearse or any of the fucking shit. Yeah. Terminator 2 is a subject of one of the demos that we were working on. Like and just all the very much the themes that you're like hard getting into right now. Yeah, that's touched upon in the song for sure. So it's just a really cool coincidence, you know?
Definitely. Yeah. I've taken inspiration from film before in my band as well, and it's always interesting to spin that stuff around to question it because, you know, with the time change that happened, you know, I often think about weird little shit like that, and I had said something to a friend of mine saying, in an automated society where our cell phones automatically change the time, and with Google Home and Alexa and all that shit, is automatically going to do it as well. So there will be kids out there who will never know what it means to change the clock back. manually.
I literally also wrote a verse about something just like this in another fucking song. I'm not kidding.
It's a conspiracy theory.
Yeah, dude. What are you? Who told you about me? Who told you about me?
Well, there we go, man. We're touching on some relatable shit, I guess. But
yeah.
Yeah. But the T2 thing, man. Okay, wait. I have to make this point just because T2 is my favorite movie of all time, and I'll have to explain why the director's cut ruins the entire movie.
Uh-oh.
And it's only for one. It's basically one scene. Like, yeah, the corny smile scene and whatever extras they threw in, whatever. I can put up with that. But there's that one scene where they're in that warehouse or tool room or whatever, and Sarah does the surgery on his head to like flick his chip so that he can learn.
Right. That
ruins everything, because the whole thing at the end, when the whole like tearjerker father-son thing where he's like, I now know why humans cry, it was like he was figuring all this stuff out on his own and learning off of John, you know, instead of just being a computer being like, okay, now you can learn. You know, it's like he's fighting his own computer instincts. You know what I mean?
I see what you're saying.
It makes it better, man. Makes it way better. And that's just my opinion, but I'll go to my
Speaking
grave.
of different, okay, to the grave. Speaking
To the
of
grave.
different, to the grave with that one. Speaking of different opinions on different versions. Hey, did you ever see the Blade Runner with where it's like,
oh, the director's cut?
No, the theatrical version where I'm narrating the fucking movie. It's fucking this Edward James Olmos. You see him? He's speaking some weird fucking language. I don't know. You ever see that fucking version? He narrates the whole thing like everyone that's watching it is dumb. You know, it's the funniest version.
I don't think I've ever actually seen that. I only have the director's cut of it.
Oh, dude, yeah, you're missing out. Like all the seriously, like the early fucked up versions in this day and age are actually a joy. You know, in a way, they're fun to watch.
Right. You know, director's cut stuff is funny to me because I watched an interview with Quentin Tarantino, and he was asked a question if he was ever going to release a director's cut of Pulp Fiction. And he said, he's like, I really don't agree with all these director's cuts coming out because I made the movie I wanted to make the first time.
Yeah. I mean, he says it in his own histrionic way, but it's really true. It's kind of like, I mean, if I were him, I'd just be like, well, that is the director's cut. That's it. There it is.
Right, but he had to be condescending about it, which I still really appreciate. But
he's got his histrionic way, But like, I've been on and off with him. I had a hatred period for a while. Like there was a phase where I was just like, no, it's just trash. But now I'm like, I very much enjoy Jackie Brown. Jackie Brown is a great movie.
Oh, dude, I just watched that
top
again.
To bottom.
I watched that again recently, man. Fuck, the movie's awesome.
Yeah, it's so good. Like, I mean,
De Niro, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Awesome. So some cool stuff is coming down the pike, as they say. Some possible T2 related music and, some other cool stuff. Hopefully soon, before too long, early into 2022, we'll be getting some new music.
Yeah, you'll get some new Marvin lore. Oh, sorry, man.
But yeah, we're working on it, man. And we got like earlier this year, or I can't remember, a little while ago, we did some guest stuff for Thor's new album, which is released now. And then we got something else coming out too, which we can't say quite quick.
He's such a super rad guy to talk to. Thor is.
John Michael Thor?
Yes.
Yeah, cool.
He was on the show back in July for the Alliance album, press release stuff. I think he gets a bad rap, honestly.
He does, and you know what? I mean, he does, and he's the Archangel Triton. Anger is his middle name, and Thor is great.
He is. So. Hey everybody, let me tell you about the new sponsor to the Metal Forge, Unchained Tapes. They're an independent Pennsylvania tape label. They focus on extreme metal and punk with a killer approach to the tape scene. Visit their web store at unchainedtapes.bigcartel.com now to get your fill of tapes. And for being a Metal Forge listener, enter the code METALFORGE10 at checkout to get a 10% discount on your total purchase. That's unchainedtapes.bigcartel.com. Hey, let me tell you guys about Mercenary Press. They're an independent London label and distributor of all things metal. Mercenary Press delivers the goods from their own independent zine. Trust me, you're going to want to get in on that. To distributing various bands from all over the world, including Cramp from Spain and Sadistic Force from Texas. Visit mercenarypress.bigcartel.com to find out what all they have in stock and what you can order. And for Metal Forge listeners, enter code MetalForge to receive a discount on your total purchase at mercenarypress.bigcartel.com. Check it out now. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over here, and I'm going to get into some general profile questions. Matt, you're familiar with this. JP, this is your time on this as well.
I'll follow along.
Definitely. Do you have any hobbies or interests outside of music?
I like to cook.
Actually, JP is a wicked cook.
Yeah, I've heard.
Yeah. Cook up
I'm okay at it, but yeah. Matt's, he was skated, and I think started taking it up again recently.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I definitely got a lot more into skateboarding, especially through the pandemic. There's one really good indoor skate park here that I hit up during the winter, and then we actually have Canada's largest outdoor skate park, Millennium, which is super sick too. But I've been picking that up again. I'm not as limber as I was back when I was young,
right?
But I got a couple more tricks in the bag, and I'm starting to pick up kind of where I left off. Like, I was never really that good, but it's fun, man. It's super fun. And outside of that, I'll like to go snowboarding when I can. And I love foosball. I like getting drunk and beating Dave at foosball. That's fun.
And darts. I've given up drinking over the past year and a half, and since then, I've just kind of done a few things, but it's not been so bad. Just running every day. I spent a lot of time looking for a good job as a cook, because right now it's aging C out there, but I finally, I found an amazing chef and sous chef to work under, and killer place and killer menu. So stoked on that, and then other than that, not a lot. I'm just the kind of guy that lives like a little mole guy, and now in my little apartment. And maybe 10 years ago I'd be that sounds horrible, but I fucking love it. I love going to bed, my futon, cozy as shit.
Definitely. Well, congratulations on the choice to, quit drinking and start running. I'm sure it has vastly improved the vocal stamina. It's getting better every year, and that's something that has kept me doing it, basically, right? The fact that it seems to the quality seems to increase every year if I put the work in. So right. It's even if I do eventually hit the wall, if it increases enough, maybe that won't even be a bummer. Definitely. Describe your favorite part about being a musician.
Oh, that's a good question. It's hard to say, because there's so many different things about it that I love. Obviously I love playing live, but I don't know. I like the feeling you get from a certain section in a song that tickles that bone where you're yeah, that's a sweet spot kind of thing. And right. Just sends a shiver up your own spine. So when you,
the emotional callback.
When you listen to one of your favorite songs, and it sends that chill up your spine. It's awesome to be able to do that on your own. But I'm just saying, it's cool to be able to create those moments with something that you created.
Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's been measuring up to Matt's songs as far as being in Traveler. He lays out the riff set, and it's I'm okay, I got to figure out how I'm gonna do that. This is a cool song. And for me, in my experience doing this, my favorite thing is watching talented people succeed. Not just monetarily, but I fucking do include monetarily, but spiritually. Because when you watch their music connect, you know what I mean? When you watch that moment on stage where they hit a sweet spot or something, and there's a cool crescendo in the song, and everyone feels it, and you watch them know that they feel it. It's that's so fucking cool to watch. And I love seeing that every time.
Absolutely. I will go with that right there, because it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a monetary thing. I think
even that though, I love seeing cause I did a fill-in tour with the band Crimson Shadows once, and Unleash the Archers was on the tour, and it was before, you know, they are as big as they are now, but I watched them, like, they worked their asses, you know what I mean?
Definitely.
So it's just like, and they're like they have some of the best musicians ever in that band, that even like that have come into play bass as well, some great players. So like yeah, even in that case, yeah, like I would say that, or like but just that the best is to watch them hit that like awesome spot with the crowd.
Definitely.
And the crowd just like moves along with it, and it's like you can't beat that. You can't beat watching anyone get that kind of power, you know.
Absolutely. Well, that's exactly where I was going with that.
The way they did it, yeah, the way they did it too, man, was super genuine, and that translates. That translates big time. You know,
I'll tell you, like every single person on that tour that was smaller that saw them said to all of their friends and everybody, their aunt and uncle, like this was the amazing thing that I saw. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. On the flip side of that, describe or tell me your least favorite part about being a musician.
I don't know. I guess it's easy to get sucked into the pressure of living up to hype and things like that. But at the same time, like, I don't really care. Like, I've cared to a degree where you always kind of want to, you know, you want to represent yourself the way that you did on the record and translate that live as well. But I mean, at the same time, it's like, it's a real time thing. Like, nothing's going to be perfect, and you shouldn't be really doing it for other people. It's mostly for yourself. It's kind of a selfish thing.
Oh, very much.
Because it very much is for the people, but if it's not making you happy, then you shouldn't do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, to put it down to one word, actually, Matt hit it on the head right there. The selfishness of it. That's what like is the most negative aspect of it for me, because it's caused me to flake out like lots of parts of life, you know.
Definitely.
And it's just like, yeah, you feel like a tramp, you know. So it's just like you're like, ugh.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, the negative aspect I would say is just it's feeling like you have to flake out on life. Like, even though like you might not like your job, you're like, you still like don't really actually hate the people you work with. You don't really actually want to fuck them over. You know, it's just real ass shit, you know, that you got to deal with in doing this.
Oh, absolutely. For sure. What was your worst live performance, and what did you learn from it?
Oh boy. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Go first.
Well, that was probably Palomino, honestly. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, it was real bad, dude. I just rolled into town and I was like just my wheels had spun out. I was like I was gaunt and tired and sickly feeling. Yeah, like I just looked like a bag of shit on stage. And then my timing was very poor. Yeah, that was my worst show with the band, definitely. Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah, we typically don't play that well in Calgary, because what we've learned from that specifically is not just jumping on stage without rehearsing at least a day or two before, because the way our band operates is that, you know, we're all in different cities, which is a huge disadvantage. But you know, sometimes we'll book these shows and we'll be like, okay, JP, get here, whatever, on the day if you can. And then we'll just hop on stage and fucking do it. Hopefully everyone did their homework and hope for the best. Sometimes
we got lucky for a while. We got lucky for a while, but that one was the wake up call where it's like, okay, we've stopped getting lucky.
Right.
Yeah. Because there was a time, at the very beginning where it seemed like we didn't need that much rehearsal to fucking get it done. But yeah, there's been a couple shows where it was a big wake up call for sure. So now we're really focusing on our live performance for sure. Palomino, whatever year that was, JP rolled in on the bus, I think, like an hour before we went on stage.
Oh yeah.
And it was just like, actually not even, he rolled into the bar like as we were sound checking.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So that was a bad one.
What is your process with getting through performance anxiety?
I honestly don't really get it too much. The only time I really hit me was Keep It True. But honestly, I just keep my head down and I just stay focused on the music. And I actually, the trick that I use is I only kind of look front row, even though I should probably look further back and engage with people back there too.
Right.
But, I look front row quite a bit because it ends up being a little bit more personal. And, you know, if it's something like a Keep It True crowd, I tried to look at just the front row and then I saw it all the way to the back and it fucked me up.
Wow.
Yeah. So I don't know, there's no real easy way around it, but I mean, I've been doing it enough to where I don't really get it as bad as I used to, for sure.
Definitely.
I just get myself in a headspace where, I mean.
What about you, JP? How do you deal with it?
It's weird, man. Like, over the years, my mental health has kind of been a roulette wheel. So here and there. So like, if I'm feeling good, the show is good. If I'm feeling bad, the show is 70% chance of being. that's okay. It. I'm pretty sure that's it. I think I got the ratio.
Definitely.
Yeah, it just depends how you feel that day, man. That works the same for me too, man. If you're feeling kind of shitty, if you're just feeling shitty, whatever personal shit you got going on, I've
noticed if I take a nap beforehand, it really fucks me up. Like, I don't feel like wanting to play.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, dude, you're so fucking right. I had this show in Mannheim, Germany, like a few years ago. I was like, this is a great idea. Cause like, I'm so tired from the road. I just need a nap. I need a nap. And dude, my throat was closed fucking shut when I was right on stage. And like, I still had like morning grog. It was the stupidest decision ever.
I think it affects me mentally to a degree, because then it's like, you sit there and you sleep for like a couple of hours and then you're just like, what the fuck? I don't want to fucking be awake right now. Yeah. And then you get the after effects, like what you're talking about too, being just like the grogginess and just being like, what the fuck? I don't want to be on stage right now.
No. But you still do. And that's the 30%. But like, I'm trying to make it so that 30% is far less.
Definitely.
And, maybe even none, but we'll see. I mean, I do, since, not drinking is finally kind of normalized for me, where it's that thing where it's just like, okay, like, that Chris Rock joke about like, I need Whitney to give us like 3 crackless albums, kind of thing. Like I've been away from booze that long, so that now it's like normalized. And I just feel like, touring is going to be kind of easier. Like getting sleep will be easier. Right. And like, my mates in the band, they're really, they hold their booze like 5 Motorheads. So they're fine. Yeah,
for sure.
Hey guys, Wrestling Steve of the Wrestling Steve Show here. So if you're currently listening to the Metal Forge with Mark Jackson, then you understand that Mark Jackson has a pretty discerning taste when it comes to music as a whole. You'll also understand that he has a discerning taste for professional wrestling, just like me. My show is called The Wrestling Steve Show. I talk about modern and classic pro wrestling in a completely unbiased, unfiltered way. Be sure to check me out on all available podcasting platforms. That is The Wrestling Steve Show. And I am the host, Wrestling Steve. Just remember, like Confucius said, man who goes through turnstile in Thailand is going to Bangkok. Pro wrestling.
Hey, it's Mark Maxwell at Maxwell's House of Music. Listen, all this stuff is now available to purchase on our website. Check it out at maxwellshouseofmusic.com.
We carry all the top brands, like Fender.
We got Gibson.
We also have basses.
We've got ukuleles.
We got drums. We've got sound gear.
We've got keyboards.
It's Gonna Get Weird is the name of the podcast. We're on season 2, so you have a whole season to get weird with Frank Green and Scott Clark. The best part is there's always laughter.
Oh, yeah, you need to pull that out.
We have national touring comedians, NFL stars, rock stars, your local friends. It always gets weird. Weird answers.
Have y'all ever snorted coke off of a 78 Pinto? No? You ain't no man.
Weird questions.
Who had a bigger cocaine habit, Jock Sutherland or Kaywood Ledford?
Neither one, because they stopped beating their wives.
And weird we never even thought of.
Well, no. My friend is on acid, and I sent my friend to go find a payphone so that I can call and turn myself in for murdering this guy and ruin my life.
We love all types of people, but we don't love all people.
Weird. It's Gonna Get Weird is the name of the podcast, available everywhere. And thank you to Big X Sports Radio for being a proud sponsor of It's Gonna Get Weird. Frank Green, Scott Clark. Yeah.
What is something you've always wanted to do, but you're not coordinated enough to do?
Drumming. I can't drum. I can dick around with the toms and the hi-hat, but the kick drum, can't do it.
Spoken like a true guitar player.
Yeah, it's fucking impossible, man. I can't do it.
Yeah, I mean, I can, I a lot of people in music are like really shy about like showing limitations. And I've seen some people even like, fabricate things, and that's like weird, the whole weird like attitude thing, you know what I mean? So it's like, I'm not afraid to say like, I'm okay at bass, like foundational, like, you know what I mean? Like a cover band level at bass, and I like to play around on that, but like, I wish I was better at it. And then, wish I was better at guitar. And I definitely wish I was better at drums too, for sure. Yeah. Like, but it could be more future pursuits, but right now I just gotta work and work and work. All I got time to do is sing. I got some other projects down the pipeline as well. So like, time is taken up.
Hell yeah. For the listeners out there, recommend one album or artist other than yourself.
Well, I'd always say Power Slave because I think that's the best album of all time. But to not get so cliche, I guess I would go with, I don't know, Crimson Glory, Transcendence. That's
a cool choice. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, one of my favorites for sure.
Hell yeah.
That's a cool choice. I've been getting down to like, I have some comfort recordings I get back to, so like Conception from Norway. If anybody hasn't heard their 90s material specifically, it's pretty sick stuff.
Hell yeah. I'm going to have to check that out because I'm not familiar with them.
Yeah, progressive. It's Tore Otsby. I think I'm butchering his name because I can never get Scandinavian names for shit, but like, I'm butchering his name for sure. But he played in that band Ark, with Jorn Lande.
Yeah,
that singer. Yeah, same guy, same guitar player, and it's like his band before that. And it has Roy Khan, the guy that sang for Camelot before he did that. Is really good, really good stuff.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I've got one more question, but before we get into it, as always, links will be listed below. So give these guys a like, a share, and a follow. Go to the Bandcamp page, buy some merch, buy some albums, buy some music, do whatever you do to support anybody out there that you would normally support. And do you guys have any shout outs you want to give to anybody before we go today?
I don't know, man. Shout out to Stu, our manager in the UK there. He puts on Brofest.
Stuart Bartlett.
Stuart Bartlett, man. He's the man. He's been working at getting us back in Europe since the fucking pandemic started. I think this is our third try.
Wow.
So he works wonders, man. He's always got your back, and I don't know. Thankful to have him on our team.
Great fella. And then AMG, shouts out to AMG over stateside.
That's right. Ian Watts, man. Yeah, that guy rules too. He's been really patient with us. It's been tough to make that call to do the US tour. We didn't want to jump the gun too soon, and deal with another cancellation. So
definitely
we got that all cooking. So now we're joining up with Haunt and Screamer in April. So that's going to be
shouts out to Big Daddy Trev and
definitely.
Haunt.
Yeah, Trevor, man. Trevor Church is great, man. He's such a cool dude to work with.
He's a sweetheart. He really is. He helps out so many bands.
Yeah, he's a super genuine dude, man. So I'm thankful to be his friend.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I would definitely support that shout out as well.
And it was right away too. It wasn't one of those ones where it's like, it takes a second or something. Because we just met right in the UK to play together for the first time, and it was Brofest was a blast. Stuart puts on a great barbecue there.
Oh yeah,
real yeah. He knows how to smoke those meats.
So the last question of the day here: what was the first album you purchased with your own money?
I think it was Offspring Smash on cassette.
That's cool.
Pretty sure. I think I was in grade 6, and I guess it wasn't my own money. My mom gave me like $5 or $10 or something, and I think I just bought that. But yeah, I'm trying to remember. I'm pretty sure that's it, and I actually still have it.
That's cool that you actually still have it.
Yeah. I still got a couple from back in the day there.
Hell yeah. What about you, JP? What was the first album you purchased with your own money?
It was the first Sabbath album in 8th grade. because, you know, I had other CDs around, but they were just kind of like, you know, lifted for my parents' collection, right? Or like a friend or something let me borrow it. Yeah, that was the first one with my money because my dad was on an Ozzy kick, and I know like Sharon was pumping out a lot of money at that time, and Ozzy was being promoted like crazy. Like, do you remember that wave of like 98, 99 hard Ozzy radio, Ozzy all the time?
The
like pre-Osbourne's promotion wave. Like, oh my God, how much money do you think she spent? Like, holy shit. And so my dad was getting back into him and like, you know, kind of pumping his 80s recordings. And I'm like, oh, I want to hear what he did first. And so like, yeah, like, and I didn't like it. Okay, so this isn't like, you know, like I was metal from the beginning. I didn't like it. I was like, wait, this doesn't sound right. This sounds weird because I wasn't used to the sonics in any 70s recording or anything from the 60s, you know.
Definitely. And it took a different shape once, you know, and granted, it was 9 months different or eight months, something like that, between the first album and Paranoid coming out. But it was so different from the first album to the second album.
I think just the songs were different. Like, you know, they were very inspired, and like there was so much inspiration from different, you know, facets, and they weren't, you know, it wasn't codified, you know, you're this, you know, back then. So the songs just all had a different feel. You know, some of them sounded like Iron Butterfly, some of them sounded like more Evil Zeppelin, you know.
Right. Well, I think what it is too is, you know, throwing it to the wall and seeing what sticks. Because obviously,
dude, especially like that's my favorite era of them. You're talking like Sabotage and like Sabbath Play Sabbath. That's the shit. That's
right.
Yeah,
so 75, 76. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I love Dio and Tony Martin to death, and Ian Gillan era as well. Like, there's some amazing live videos from that era. But like, yeah, like that era of Sabbath though was their creative zine for sure. Sabotage, Sabbath Play Sabbath.
Definitely. Yeah,
in my opinion.
And I'm a Volume 4 fan personally. So,
I love that one too, man.
Right. Just because of it's heavy as shit. It's got my two favorite songs, Snowblind and Supernaut, and just like I think it's a perfect album personally. That's just me though.
Yeah, that's rad, man. For sure.
Dudes, JP, Matt, thank you so much for coming into the Metal Forge this week. This has been super cool. I've had such a good time talking with you guys today. It's been super awesome and super fun. On the way out today from Termination Shock, what are we playing out?
Oh, good question. I don't know. Want to do Deep Space?
Yeah, man.
That's awesome.
You'll be hearing. Yeah, we'll be playing that one on the road, man. So.
But is it Deep Space? No, I'm kidding.
Deep Space Mine.
Dudes, again, seriously, thank you. Here it is from Traveler. This is Deep Space.
She forces a record of the fibers
Hey, thank you all for tuning into this week's episode of The Metal Forge. I want to take a minute to remind you guys about the Patreon page. Over on the Patreon page, we have the tiers set up to support the production of the show. We feature the Down and Dirty, which is just $1. There's nothing special for that one, it just sends me a thank you because every dollar helps. Then there's the Double Down and Dirty. Much akin to the Down and Dirty tier, everything helps produce the show in the end. You make your presence known, and I appreciate that more than you realize. Thank you for being a dedicated friend and supporter to the Metal Forge. By selecting that tier, you will receive some cool Metal Forge stickers in your mailbox. Now, we're really going to start pounding the metal madness with the Apprentice Metalhead for just $5 a month. By becoming an Apprentice Metalhead, you'll be given early access to the shows, published 24 hours before everyone else gets it. You're also going to receive 3 entries in any contest that we do here at the Metal Forge. You're also going to receive a 10% discount on all Metal Forge merch, and you're going to receive a sweet Metal Forge patch for your battle jacket or backpack. And now, here is the big one. This is the Master Metalhead for just $10 a month. By becoming a Master Metalhead, you will receive a hand-numbered Metal Forge Master Metalhead membership card. You're going to be given early access to the shows as well, with 36 hours before everyone else. You're going to receive 5 entries in any contest that we do here at the Metal Forge. You'll be able to submit audio questions that I will use on the show of you asking questions to the upcoming guests. Remember, timing is everything, and you will need to keep up with the upcoming guest list on the website. You're also going to receive advanced knowledge of any new merch coming out and be given a 25% discount on all Metal Forge merch. And you're also going to get all of the other rewards from the other tiers. So visit patreon.com/Metal Forge Radio today and help support the Metal Forge. Rock on.